What's up, everybody? What's up? I didn't do the intro thingy, but whatever. Christine can yell at me later.
I will.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Kelly.
Hold on, I gotta fix this one real quick. Hold on. How do I do that?
How's everyone doing?
Hi, Patricia. Hi, Nicole. Here's Joan. Oh, hello.
All right, let's see. Kayla, Joan, Nicole, Patricia.
Well, there goes Callie. Hey, Jeanette.
Okay, let me see. I think I know what I'm doing. Maybe. Maria. VR the star. Callie, Sarah. Jeanette. Beautiful people in the chat. It has been a busy couple of weeks in true crime since we've last been on live.
Lots of fun stuff.
Lots of cases going on. Lots of different things happening. All right, let me make sure that I got everything right. Send that out. There we go. So what's everybody doing on this lovely Friday night? True crime has been very busy. Hanging out with us. So you guys know Christine. She's the one with the avatar up. And then this is the lovely Michelle Miamor.
Hi, everyone.
For anybody who needs an introduction.
I'll be in chat as criminality, though. I'm not opening another screen. I might die. Like, my computer is not being reliable right now.
We need Christine behind the scenes. We need her.
Missy!
Miscellaneous.
The NK drop. I am getting Watts crazy. So over it.
Oh, gosh.
I was wondering if you were going to, with the
no
update.
comment on that. I'm not.
Christine's like,
thank you, Plunder, for the video finally after 3 years. Thank you, Plunder. We appreciate you.
So what did you guys? Okay, we'll start off with that. Let's just get it out of the way because obviously we all started there at some point, I think. So Plunder puts up a video. Plunder puts up the video saying that she's basically has a letter of intent to sue to get this footage of NK's first video interview. So as you know, so the 15th of August, she was interviewed at the park. That was just recorded, so there was only audio. And then the 16th of August, she was recorded with her dad at the police department. And then, so Plunder puts in the intent to sue. And like, I think it was like literally the next day. Hey, Amber. Watts is never going away. I know.
Never.
I don't want to stay on Watts Island very long now. I just like, we're just going to talk. We're just going to get in and then we're going to get out.
We're
like driving by it real quick. Hi, Queen. Yeah, absolute props to Plunder because she, if you guys have followed it, she's been looking for that footage, I think, since the original release of
the
Discovery.
Real VIP.
So props to her for not backing down. So then, what was it? A day or two later, after that video comes out, then we get the premiere on Frankie's channel. So I think there's a lot
classy. She's so classy about it. Because did you see that? Yeah, that update she posted, and she was like, and that is absolutely the right decision. You're like, hats off to her. Like she really just handles herself well.
She really does because you have to give her props because of the fact that she paid for the footage to be released.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
I think the family got it free. I got the whole Discovery and everything free. So yeah, they gave it to them, but
right. So come to find out, then so Frederick PD didn't have it. The CBI actually had it. So then CBI got it from, or Frederick got it from the CBI and then released it to the family first, and then obviously many YouTubers have, looked at chunks of it and
Nicole, there's no unpopular opinions here.
Right,
all opinions
we all share the same
here.
Opinions.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't share the same opinions necessarily. So yeah, feel free to have whatever opinion that, floats your boat, because it is what it is at this point. I've come for me personally, I've kind of put closure on it just because I feel like I looked at it so much that I have a general idea of what went down, and I'm comfortable with the conclusion. I would love to see another person arrested, but if that happened, I would probably be back on Watts Island in a heartbeat.
That would be enough. That would be enough.
Joan, I thought she looked so tiny in her chair. Like she looks like so.
No, I agree with Joan. She did. She looked much bigger than what I've originally thought. Yes,
really? I thought she just looked so frail in that chair.
I did, but you know what?
Frail?
Well, not frail, but like just little. She just looks like small. And the pictures of her in the bikini, she looks kind of buffy, like she looks beefy.
she's muscular.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking maybe it was just the angle, but I thought her head looked a little big.
Yeah, she had the whole bun hair going. She was just.
She looked like she was starving.
Yeah, and tired.
If you guys really want to dig into the Watts case, I'll tell you right now, go to CDT and to ATS News, and they are in every little crevice of everything that has to do with the Watts case. So if you're wanting deep in there, that's where you guys need to go.
Amber has the best Watts videos. Amber caught me completely up because I came from the documentary, and she filled in every little hole and void that I needed, and then Kelly followed up with the lives, and it just great.
You came after the documentary. Hey, look at you.
Okay, Dre, we know.
I know.
She said stop.
Well, did you watch the release of the video? So I thought that, and this is hard to put into words. I thought that it made her more real, more personable, that you could see her face in the reactions versus just the weird, they're so little, and you could just hear the voice, but you could actually see her doing it. It made her more personable, but I still thought it was kind of fake. I didn't get oh my gosh, she's being so genuine. I never felt that.
Yeah. And she still does not say the name. That would put.
Yeah, those girls, that woman, that lady, you know what I mean? That wife or what? She just never, I don't know. And there was so much about herself. I'm you do realize that they just recovered Shanann and they're working on recovering the girls. You ask about that and then continue for an hour to discuss your unemployment.
She was hungry. Remember, she was hungry. She was upset and she was hungry and it was time to go. That kind of, that rubbed me a little wrong too. Can we go to McDonald's?
I know she needs some more macros. Her balance is off.
This is your boyfriend and his, wife and children. And you want a Big Mac. I don't understand.
World peas. World peas. It's world peace, but it's world peas.
World peas.
I got you.
Good Mac.
I wish that they would have interviewed Leave Jim Alone. I mean, there's still a ton of discovery that is not released. So one of the things that came up during Frankie's live was that this was going to put a lot of the speculation to rest. And I was very confused by that comment. So I want to know what you guys think, because this audio, so let me backtrack. Okay, so the original release came out of the discovery. And in that original release, they released the 3-hour and 33-minute audio of this interview. So the whole audio is out there. When it got re-released, as new people were more people were coming and more people were requesting it for themselves, because a lot of groups at that time had it on Google Drives and you could just go grab whatever you wanted from it. So when those Google Drives were gone, people started requesting it themselves and more YouTubers were requesting it for themselves so they could download everything. They only put 2 hours and 14 minutes of that 3-hour and 33-minute audio into the second dump of discovery. So a lot of people had never heard the last hour, because most channels have just the 2-hour blah, 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 and not the full 3-hour and 33-minute audio. But like Plunder, for instance, she's always had the 3 hour and 33-minute audio. We've had the 3 hour, 33-minute audio. But most people thought this was. Go ahead.
What second release was missing a lot of like smaller tidbits, like in the attachments and all that kind of stuff. The second release, and I'm specifically speaking about the one that Natasha went down with her friends and got in Colorado. That release, those external files didn't have all of the stuff that they originally released. Like they took it back.
Right. Well, they only released, that was just from Frederick itself. So that all the CBI stuff wasn't even in there. But then that's when we got like the Walmart footage and then the Home Depot footage that we had never had before. Hi, Tiffany. So good to see you. Yeah. Michelle's like, I love
Tiffany.
I know.
Girl.
So they said that this was going to like stop speculation, but I don't really understand how it's going to stop speculation when you release something new and you know that we all want to watch something new. And it's going to have everybody critiquing everything that she does. Like one of the things I was suggesting to CDT and Amber was like, I would love to know what questions were asked every time right before her face turns into a tomato.
Yeah.
She turns bright red.
She does. She's very red. Very red.
So what's being asked and then all of a sudden she turns red?
She gets a little red.
This has been analyzed for a long time now.
That's why I feel like they just created more. They putting that out, it just created more buzz, I think. Just more, we want to look even more deeper now into it because now we can see her body language. We can see, Do you know
what was a super turn off for me when Netflix released their thing? And it was like in high def, like 4K. And I swear to God, I couldn't stop looking at everybody's pores and just like their imperfections. I'm like, oh my God, if this would have been what it looked like when I was watching on my computer, I don't even know if I would have kept watching because that's gross. You need a Biore strip or something.
It looked so much better. All the interviews looked so much better on Netflix.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was like, why didn't they do this to the Discovery to begin with?
Well, obviously because they own them since they copyright striked everybody that tried to use it afterwards. Do you remember that? That was a thing when they were
there was
striking
some I
all
could
the
never
interviews.
get. There was some of the body cam footage that I could never get uploaded because it was constantly Shamita. It was constantly just copyright. Like they wouldn't even publish it. Some of it was like automatically deleted. I was like, whatever.
Because they owned the.
They didn't own it though. I had it before they did. Bullshit.
It's fine.
Bullshit. All right, so we're good with the NK stuff. You guys want to deep dive? I told you exactly where to go. You guys find those channels. We can drop some links in there if the wrenches don't mind. You guys drop the links for CDT and for ATS News. You guys want to go deep dive some Watt stuff. We'll look at every little pore on their faces.
Yes. And Chris is out of the truck coming up to the driveway.
Brown's mermaid. Okay, so which one should we talk about next? What case? We got updates with Scott Peterson. You got updates with Summer Wells.
I got the Oren video.
Oren and Orson West.
I have that video up right here. I don't.
Okay.
You could probably throw it up, but yeah, that was a big one. That's a big one. Yeah.
Okay, so we're just gonna we're gonna go from case to case and we'll kind of try to cover everything we can there. That doesn't mean we won't go back to one though. Okay, so Oren and Orson West. I just did
this is
update.
like 5 minutes.
Okay.
Mute yourselves.
Okay. All right, Bobs.
Ooh, that thing tastes good. He came to your house? And so when did he do that to your lip?
He was my nice.
He wasn't playing nice.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. And what did he do again?
Huh?
What did he do?
Just cut out and press me on my face.
Where?
Right here. On my forehead, but he did that.
Oh, I thought we was talking about your lip. What happened to your lip?
He just did the way he bite me on it into the zoo.
From the zoo?
Dang, you had to go with that one?
I mean, it just brought it so much like into your soul.
No shit, man, my soul's coming out my eyeballs.
They were pictures before, but they were like older pictures, like that made him so human, like so like right in your
Oh wow.
His little voice is so precious.
He tries to explain someone hurting him, and it's just to have to a child should never have to explain why someone is hurting them. It's just not
The Lost Boys. Yeah, I thought that was
I really should have watched that before we came live, because that was the first time I'd seen it. I know you did.
You did say new
man, I can't. I love the memories and I love looking at the stuff. But then when you start to think about what happened.
I have to give credit on that video.
You think about what they were going through.
Those pictures in that home video was put together by a channel called Kit, and we'll link it below. But I just changed out the background music and stuff. But yeah, credit goes to that channel for getting it. But it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Those kids, the babies, are so.
Just even see their interaction with other family members and things like that. You can see how they were playing in the backyard together, and just brothers.
It's crazy, dude. That kills me.
It's crazy that we're sitting up here and we're actually discussing this. It's I lose words.
I can load that onto the channel, so that people can
just
watch it without having to like scramble through the live. We'll put that up.
Wow.
I agree.
So those pieces of crap are right where they belong. I have no.
Yes, they are exactly where they.
Well, I don't think anybody really has thought since December of 2020 that those guys were not responsible in some way, shape, or form for what happened. I don't know one person who's ever been like, I think they might be innocent, or I think they didn't do anything. I mean, I think we've all questioned, did they ever even make it to California City? Were they left in Bakersfield? you know, I don't know if you had a chance to load the indictment, but I think it was not even like 3-4 weeks ago, I was posting in the Facebook group that they had photos of the grand jury out at the house. So we knew something was happening, because the grand jury was out there looking around and walking through the fields, and
the detectives were seen out there.
I mean,
there was a lot of action going on.
Right.
And then at Wanda West's house as well, there was 2 detectives that I had seen, 2 videos that were posted of 2 detectives that were out speaking to her. Other family members.
And the biological mom. Yeah, the biological mom from her very first interview was like, something is wrong. Like, this is not right.
Something's not okay. I believe she's out of Washington, and she has 2 children of her own, I believe, 2 or 3 children of her own outside of.
She said it was like.
Does she still have custody of them?
Yes.
It was like from a misunderstanding or something, that she was at work and the older one got hurt with the babysitter, and then that just started this whole like domino effect of terrible. I have the indictment loading right now. It'll be ready in a second.
Okay. Yeah, the fact that, I mean, he was up there and he was like this in that interview, and he was like so calculated in every single word that came out of his mouth, the way he spoke.
Mm-hmm.
It was, I mean, go ahead.
The whole firewood went outside and checked for 3 seconds to come to find out she never went outside at all. I mean,
no.
Just from the original interview alone and the family members that were surrounding them. I don't know if they show that in some of the other interviews that we're seeing, but the bio family is there, and they're screaming at them because they want to know where they are, and they're petrified.
Oh yeah,
as they should have been. It's written all over both of them, in my opinion.
We can play it, Melmac, no problem. I don't know if I can handle it again, but dude, I was struggling the first one.
I agree, Jeanette.
Oh yeah, he makes my stomach turn. So okay, so we know they got arrested. That we know that the grand jury ended up doing indicting them on 2 counts of second-degree murder, two counts of child abuse, basically, and 1 count each of lying about an emergency. So but there's some terminology, especially under Orson's, the little one, because these guys were 4 and 3 at the time they went missing. So the little one was 3. That's Orson. And so when there's some, I don't know if this is, it's hard for me to see it. This is Oren's. Okay. I'm sure you guys have all seen this. If you guys want to read through it, let me know in the chat and we can read through it. But so the first one is his murder charge, and then there's the aggravated circumstances that go along with it. So great violence, threat of, it's hard for me to see, so if I miss a word, I apologize. Christine, can you make it any bigger? I'm kind of blind.
No.
Okay, I'll just put my face right here then, okay?
Sorry.
I start counting my pores. Let's see.
Your face.
I know. I'm gonna turn my camera off because you're just gonna make fun of me.
The eyebrows.
So there was 6 kids total. They had 2 biological children. They had another 2 that they had adopted, and then they had Oren and Orson. The other 4 had been taken into social services. I don't know where they're actually located, or if they're with any other biological family, or the 2 had been adopted. I don't know what happened with them. If anybody in chat, I know Tiffany covers this story a lot, so maybe she may have some insight. So yeah, if you're looking for any deep dives into Oren and Orson, I know that you guys check out Tiffany and Marie's channel. I will post the video independently on the channel too when we are done. Okay, where are we at? Okay, so the next part is all your aggravation, so your circumstances of aggravation. So it's like the malice, the fact that Oren was under their care, so they're the parent in charge, the adult in charge of them. Doesn't have the one that I want to see though, I don't think.
This is page 3.
Okay, hold on.
Just tell me can you see the controller at the bottom, or is that only me? I can see it.
I think only you can.
Okay, well just tell me when you want to go to the next page or whatever.
Okay. Because there was the one part that I really wanted to read. Now I'm like right next to my computer, so you guys can probably, because you're probably like, you're screaming at me, but I'm really not, I promise. Okay, this is Orson. So yeah, so his aggravated, same thing, that they were the one that was in charge of him. He was vulnerable at the time, position of leadership or dominance in the participants. Okay, that's the same thing. I think it's this one.
You're looking for the part where it says like,
yeah,
persuaded others or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, I think is that the next page.
Compelled others or something.
There's two parts to it. This one, I think this is it. Okay, so the second section down, it says it's further alleged that the defendant Trezell West and Jacqueline West, that the manner of the crime was carried out, indicates planning, sophistication, or professionalism. So this circumstance in aggravation is not on Oren's; it's just on Orson's, which then leads me to believe that Orson was the original target and his big brother probably was trying to defend him. And that's how, so let me back up. So when all this first happened, there was, there's child trafficking. There's obviously child trafficking everywhere, but there is child trafficking. I thought you did. I thought you did cover the boys. A.V. Watchman, absolutely, without a doubt. And I'm going to talk about him in a minute anyway, because he was doing some stuff yesterday that I want to touch on. So the very beginning, there's child trafficking everywhere. But one of the main theories was that the boys had been sold, because if you look at it, they have 6 children total. A lot of the times when you see child abuse, even in families that have multiple children, it's either all children or they focus on one child. And I don't know the psychology behind all that, so I don't want to get into that. But the fact that both boys were missing was always a big question. Like, you don't typically target both boys or 2 boys out of your 6. You would target one, or you target all 6, depending on what type of abuse you're going through. So it always just led me to believe that the possibility of them being sold. The money situation had come up when they bought the house. They had asked for a loan, and they borrowed money from somebody that they immediately paid back not that long after. And the boys on surveillance, which was why I want to talk about A.V. Watchman. So the neighbor had surveillance, and a couple days before the boys were reported missing, the family's getting into their big white van, but only 4 children are present, not 6.
I remember that.
So like the timing was, people had seen the boys, all 6 boys in Bakersfield. We don't know the last exact date yet. I'm sure we'll find that out more, closer to trial, but they move around September to California City. And then now December, you're seeing 4 boys on surveillance versus 6.
From September to September 30th has to be around the timing.
Right, and that's when they're moving to California City.
I don't think they ever made it out of.
I was shocked when the airplane.
Yeah, sorry.
I was shocked when what's the this, I want to say sergeant. That's not right. The captain, the John Walker, or whatever his name.
The sheriff.
Yeah, the sheriff. Thank you, sergeant. The sheriff, when he said, like, he was doing like a interview, and they're like, and they said, have they ever been seen by anybody in California City? And he was like, no. And I was like shocked when that happened. Like, that's like when I knew that something was way wrong.
Yep.
So there was a channel that had gotten that was talking to like the real estate agent that sold them the house, or the loan officer that sold them the house, one or the other. And I remember, like, she was talking about them only having 4, that she only knew they had 4 kids. Mm-hmm. And I was like, that's an issue. So that's when I was like, they either sold them or something happened in Bakersfield and then they took off.
Absolutely.
I do not believe they ever made it out of Bakersfield one way or the other. But like I said, I had thought at one time that they maybe had been sold, unfortunately.
Well, there was also, like, somebody was reporting like a sighting of them, like at some store, and one of them looked sick. Do you remember that? I don't remember where I saw
I do
that.
kind of remember that. There was a lot of tips that were called in. I remember them
Mhm.
searching, like somebody had called in skeletal remains. They ended up being animal.
Yes. Yeah.
Never could find a single person that saw the boys in California City. Yeah. There was also said that there was no evidence. Support with Steph. Hi. I didn't even say hi to you. That there was no evidence that the boys had ever been in the California City house. So that was another thing that came up because there wasn't a place for them in the house.
No sleeping area, no toothbrushes. There was nothing accounted for Oren and Orson. And class, I believe
You
they're
know what?
named Classic and
Classic and sincere.
Classic.
Yeah, I agree. We should like be able to call them their actual names, but
the only issue with that is that in documents and their legal names currently are Oren and Orson West. That is their legal names. So as much as they were born classic and sincere, it's hard to refer to them when you're talking about documents from court when they're not called that.
I even noticed a lot of the files.
I can't even imagine. Like, my heart goes out to her if she ever sees this or if anybody knows her. Like, my heart breaks for that woman so much.
You know, the bio dad actually filed lawsuit like 4 or 5 months ago.
And the dad, sorry.
And
the dad.
BR the star, you are right. Loaned him money. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So then the next part. So reading this makes me think. Okay, so Orson is their primary person that they're focused on, right? The next section down. So it's the third section on this page, and it further alleges that the defendant Trezell West and Jacqueline West took advantage of a position of trust or confidence to commit the offense within the meaning of California rules of this code. This makes me think, and I don't want to, but this makes me think that the other children in the house were coerced into helping commit these crimes or covering these crimes up.
And there's something in there about them like stopping and hindering them interviewing potential witnesses. Like, were they like not allowing access to the other kids or something?
Well, I thought the other boys were taken pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
I'm wondering if there was a reason behind having the other children involved, so that if this was to come to light and they were put in the light, it could be, well, one of the other children hurt them and we X, Y, and you know what I mean? Like, almost that those other kids could have been used as another excuse for them. I can't even get it out.
True. Like one of the kids actually injured them, and then they all decided to do something. I don't know.
Or they can make up a story like wrestling and it went too far, or this one hit his head, and just I don't know, something's. I read that and I get very mad.
My superhero loves Akitas.
They're in so much danger in jail right now. Like, but did you see the cousin went on the news to say that she's like, we want them as alive as possible until after the trial. That's how we're going to get justice. Like, we don't want them hurt. We want them safe. And I was like, amen to that. But as soon as that trial's over, they are in so much danger.
Yeah. Yep.
So they were taken away from the bio mom because of an incident that happened where one of the boys was hurt, and then they were put into foster care. But if I remember correctly, and if any of you guys remember different, correct me. They were actually adopted without all the proper protocols, according to her.
Oh, that's right. They opened an investigation.
Right, because they were just adopted out, and normally in California, and I know this personally because my niece and nephew were foster kids and then adopted. The parents have 2 years to complete whatever the court deems that they need to complete, depending on what the reasoning was. And then at the 2 years is when the parents go back to court and say, okay, this is what we've done. We proved our case, and now, or we didn't prove our case, and now our children can be adopted. Unless both parents say, hey, we're good, let them be adopted. So I don't really understand why they were adopted out if she hadn't actually or she hadn't been allowed to go back and fight yet.
And am I remembering correctly? But Trezell's mom had worked for like DHS or or she was a
something like that.
Something like that. She worked with social services. Yeah, she was like connected there.
They did an interview too. I think it's Trezel's
anything.
parents did an interview on the news not too long after, because people were outside their house like, where are the boys? Where are the boys?
I wonder if that guy that works in Washington, that like the brother that's like real successful, that he's like a CNN or an NBA, like he's like something. And I wonder if he's like getting not punishments, but ramifications from this fallout. I wonder what's happening to him. Like, will they still have him on TV and stuff?
I don't know.
Mel Mac, I had looked into that, but I didn't. I couldn't come across anything of any type of assistance for them from Jacqueline and Trezel.
So I can tell you once again, only from my own family, that when my niece and nephew were fostered, my brother and sister-in-law did get financial support, and then they continued to get financial support after they were adopted, but it was not the same amount.
Yeah, in California, you get paid during fostering a lot. I don't know what it is after adoption is complete, but yeah, in California, there's money behind it, and that's scary. It's really scary.
That is scary. Yeah. Very scary. You get more money fostering than you do adopting, but the only issue with that, Nana 5, is that you can't foster that many at the same time. So if you want to foster more, so this was my issue with this whole case. These parents were not very old. I mean, I don't want to say they're young, but they're not very old. They had 2 biological children. So then they fostered kids. So then they fostered these 2 boys that they ended up adopting, and they fostered the other 2 boys they ended up adopting. Or no, they were still fostered. Sorry. Were they adopted or fostered? I'm forgetting my own facts at this point.
I thought they were adopted.
I think at that point they were all adopted. But my point is that you're it's like, I hate to say this because this is 2 little human beings, but you're stacking money. So you're getting the money for adopted, but then you're able to bring in more foster to get more money.
Right.
It's a way to kind of play the system.
Exactly.
It's a lot of money. And honestly, in California, I know that they get as much money as the cap for like your Social Security for like survivor benefits is. So I think each child, I think you probably get between like $1,400 and $1,600 per month per child.
Wow.
So if you have 4 kids, I mean, you have to have a house. When you foster, there's so many requirements. You have to have a bedroom and beds, and they can inspect. They come and see the kids all the time, like more often. I'm not gonna say all the time, but there's a lot of requirements. But that's a lot of money.
Yeah,
that's a lot of money.
And COVID created a lot of holes, for them to hide and do all these crazy things behind the scenes too, So
and they weren't working.
Neither one.
So they're affording all of this basically off.
He made beats.
Right. We forgot.
And she was a stay-at-home mom.
And slinging ice cream.
Thomas, it's almost like illegal child trafficking. And that's what the issue I have is the system is supposed to be set up for reunification. The children are supposed to be able to go back to their biological families. That's the goal. The goal is to get the parents into a place or into treatment that they will be able to raise their own children.
Bakersfield just has a big that specific area has major like Department of Health Services problems. Like I know that this adoption and fostering thing is much more of a problem down south than it is up here, and I'm in Northern California. Is that more like Gabriel was in Southern California?
That's LA. Yeah, that's by me.
So,
but I feel like a lot of the problem is they're missing all those steps in between that. It's great you want to get them back to their biological parents, but there's home checks. There's these parents should be evaluated. They should be drug tested. There's so many things that are not being done in between that, and they're just being placed back with the bio parent that they were originally taken from in the first place. And it's just, of course you want to see all families reunite and that, but it's also you take them from good loving homes at the same time, and you're placing them back in the hands of these monsters that you didn't clear, you didn't check, you didn't,
the system to be a foster, it's like, well, we want to take all these children from their biological parents because their biological parents are so bad, right? And then we're putting them with people who are worse.
I would not ever want to be a social services worker in Kern County, especially, but in California and anywhere. That's a job that is thankless.
Yep.
You get all the blame and none of the gratitude, and
they're
bad
completely
things
overworked.
happen. Yeah,
Yep.
so overwhelmed.
Yep. They have tons of cases. They have 10 times the amount of cases that, they're supposed to. So a lot of the time, and then this is the best part. Even if they want to go on and go and do the right thing, it's like, no, you have to clock out, no overtime for this. So it's like, here goes
if we
you have to
valued
check
that
on 20
job
families in the
position,
same day.
Exactly.
Like, how are you going to do it?
Right. You're going to do 45 home visits in a week. That's just not, something's going to
do you know what the problem with that whole thing is? That job position. Like, if we valued those people more, paid them great, made sure they were educated, and if that was just a position that we like really respected,
I agree.
That's the problem, is that we hire that, like, it's just not has the respect level, and the payment is just not there. Like, their financial situation is in the drain.
You see, and they constantly try to, hey guys, their union reps are constantly.
Do you know what I think is weird about this though? This whole kind of situation across the board is that I swear, when I was on WIC with my daughter, I saw a social services worker like all the time. Every time I wanted to get some more milk or something,
Every month,
I saw them. And it's like, how is this happening in our foster care system? I can't even get some eggs and cheese without seeing somebody and them checking my kid out. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, sure.
So once they're adopted, there's just like no more follow-up. I think there's like a 6-month visit and then you're done.
Yeah, that's
so because these kids were adopted, because Classic and Sincere, Oren and Orson were adopted, then they just don't have any follow-up, because the question is how does nobody see them from September until December? And I've always said they were reported missing because Christmas was coming and they knew people were going to ask questions.
Exactly.
Where are the other 2 boys?
Yeah, I agree with that.
All those, every Thanksgiving went by, Christmas approached. I mean, no one saw them on a FaceTime call, anything, nothing.
Yeah, Callie, they used to like take my daughter's clothes off at the WIC office, and she would just be running around playing so they could check her for. And this was like regular, and it's just WIC.
I just want some dang milk.
I agree, Sky.
Yeah.
I agree, Sky.
Okay, so one thing I wanted to bring up before we move on to a different case was and you guys can take this for what you want, but apparently yesterday another couple from Kern County who does not have custody of their boys are trying to locate their boys, and they were told by somebody who works for DCFS that probably wasn't supposed to tell them that at one point Trezell and Jacqueline actually were the foster parents of their 2 children.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So they're looking to figure out where are their boys now. Because they don't know where they ended up. Obviously, you don't always know where DCFS isn't telling parents all the time where the kids end up or who ends up adopting them, but still, the mom is like, I just want proof of life that my kids are okay, because I was told by somebody who wasn't supposed to tell me that Trezell and Jacqueline were actually foster parents to my kids.
I did not hear that. I didn't hear that.
This was just last night. This was all happening on AV Watchman last night. Well, they were on the news, and then AV Watchman had a live about it. So,
wow.
I'm like, what? Wait a minute. So, and I don't know if anybody's seen an update today on it. I have not. If they've even been given, or if they even will be given any type of proof of life of where or how her boys are.
I mean, probably not. I mean, this whole system's not going to change.
I agree.
What would it even take to make the changes that DHS needs? Like, huge amounts of, and it's all bureaucratic. It would be like
it very
political
much is.
work.
Those are not changes that happen very easily.
Yeah.
And of course, the easy solution to any of these kids' cases is always to throw money at it. But I think that if there was money to be thrown at it, it would be. There just isn't. It's the same thing we talk about, like with the corrections and the prisons and the stuff that's happening there. There's not enough money to put into. I don't know why that just got so bright, but I'm going to turn my camera off real quick and then see if I can fix that. but there's not enough money to fix these issues. And what you've seen over years and years, if you look at like the history of prisons or the history of DCFS, is it has changed. They have thrown money at it, and it doesn't actually change the outcomes. I mean, it doesn't change them in a positive way, I should say. There's no true impact. So where do you actually fix it?
They're going through a lot of that in the Harmony Montgomery case now, out of New Hampshire.
And that I don't know who that is as a mayor, or I don't know if it's governor or whoever it is, but that guy is like on it. And if you guys follow Harmony Montgomery, that guy is like, we are making changes, and he's like trying to get, legislation that's going to say that this is not okay. These interstate, because Harmony was actually in New Hampshire and moved to Massachusetts, if I remember correctly. Is that my opposite? Michelle?
It might be opposite. I think it's opposite.
But either way, she was given custody and then to her dad, and there was zero follow-up because they moved out of state. So nobody ever followed up, and then Harmony's been missing for 2 years, and nobody knows where she's at.
One social worker emailed the other social worker. In between the emails, judge granted custody to Adam, and nothing else after that. It was that fast, in between two states, cross lines, and there she went.
And I mean, COVID is giving it's giving them all this nice big Band-Aid to say like, oh, well, it's because,
bullshit.
I mean,
and I agree. I believe there's money
those
behind
are essential workers. They should have been doing their job.
Yeah, I agree.
We said this when we were talking about the Serenity case. And when COVID hit, the number one question, what's going to happen to abusive relationships? What's going to happen to children that are abused? They're taking them out of school. They're taking them out of the outlets. There was no doubt that there was going to be a rise in this type of crazy.
I agree. These babies had no one to check on them over no contact, 2 years went by for Harmony, 2 whole years.
And like how many, the kids that like weren't yet in kindergarten, that should have been enrolled and weren't,
Yep.
That's
the other thing. Harmony was actually in school in foster care. So when she was in foster care, she was actually enrolled in school. And then when she moved, she was never enrolled in school.
Never.
The kid never showed up to school, but because she was transferred out of one school district, nobody ever knew she was in the second school district. So she just went non-existent. So there wasn't even a school looking for her. That's
how serial child abuse happens. Like with the kids, the 19 kids, and that, which ones I'm talking about? I'm terrible with names, guys. I apologize.
The Turpin family?
Yeah, they moved from county to county and state to state to always get away. And the Harts from Washington or whatever that drove down and then they drove off a cliff, they were also like county and state jumpers to get away from like DHS in various locations.
But if DHS is looking for them, why is there not communication to? Okay, so we have cases. Hi, Amanda. We have cases like Valo-Daybell. So the parents go and say, hey, they take off, and then immediately there's warrants out for their arrest for interfering with the custody because they were supposed to relinquish custody of the children over to the state. Same thing happened with Serenity when she was trying to report it missing.
It's not a law enforcement agency, so they're not all talking to each other.
Yeah. Why not?
I don't know.
So is that where a failure comes in? We need to get a cool picture for me and Mona Michelle.
Oh yeah, I gotta get a robot face.
All right, I'm gonna turn my camera back on and see if it actually. Okay, I think it's better. I don't know what that is.
It's a big heavy topic. It's a big heavy topic. It's hard to talk about because there's no solution. Everybody is so upset about it, but it's very unsatisfying.
But I think the problem is people don't know what to do.
Still feel bad at the end. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So anything else on Oren and Orson, Sincere and Classic before we move on? Anything else you guys want to talk about there?
We can't wait for the trial. It starts like May 30th or something, and May something, I heard.
Yeah. So they did. So they pled not guilty. But there is, okay, so that's another thing. So because it's a grand jury indictment, I'll just make sure everybody's aware, there is no preliminary hearing. So the grand jury actually takes the place of the preliminary hearing. So you won't have that where they're going to bring all the evidence forward and we're going to get to see what evidence they have against them. We're not going to see any of that in this case until trial. because they showed all that evidence to the grand jury. So they've already presented it and had enough evidence to move forward, which is why they were arrested. So we won't see anything until they actually go to trial. But that DA is like on it, and she's like, "We're going to take care of this." I wonder if they're going to have any types of, what those interrogations are going to look like. What the, are they going to flip on each other? You get them separated. That's the big thing. Get them separated and see what happens.
I'm going with it.
Hi, Jen Lou.
Hi, Jen Lou. Yeah, keep praying, Sky Chance. Yes, everybody keep praying, because she's confident though. She's ready. She's like, all right, we're good. They have a very good idea of what happened, and the fact that the charges are a little different for each child lets me know that they probably do have a very good idea of what happened.
I think the kids spoke up. I think they told the entire story, and then they were able to take it from there and piece it all together too. It's multiple.
BR the Star. I don't know if they went to the Bakersfield apartments. I have no idea. We happened. I think it was either a neighbor or somebody had caught the pictures of the grand jury and it was not even known that it was a grand jury. It was just a very, very large group of people that were wandering around the property and looking at things. And so true crimey people are like, wait a minute, that's a grand jury.
So this whole thing has kind of like brought up, like everybody was like, what are the police doing? They're not doing enough. And it was so reminiscent for me for like this. We also felt like this for like Gannon and stuff. And which by the way, this is not my point, but I can't wait for Letitia to get her nutcracker together so we can get in that trial. But I pray to God, I hope so hard that one day that we'll be having this live and it'll be discussing Delphi and we'll be like, we doubted them and they did it. There was a reason for the silence and now they got him. Like, that's my, like, I hope much.
I hope so when it comes to Delphi, because I struggle with the silence in that case 5 years later.
Man, they must know what, I really hope they know what they're doing.
I hope they do too. I don't know though. I don't know. Because that one bothers me a lot. So we could touch on Gannon real quick before we move on, because I think that's happened since we were live the last time anyway, was that she's now pleading insanity. She was deemed competent to stand trial, and I think that there's probably some confusion about competent and insanity out there too. So competent to stand trial is when somebody doesn't understand the process of what's happening in front of them right then. So she was deemed competent to stand trial, that she understood that she had been arrested. She understood the charges against her. She understood that she was in a court of law and evidence was going to be presented that she had committed this crime. She was deemed competent to stand trial twice, I believe. So now she's trying to claim a defense of insanity, which is different because insanity is going to go to her mental state when she actually committed the crime.
Well, here, I'll help. That bitch is insane. So,
and now
I'm telling you that woman has got something off. Regardless, she's been off, but she was off before, which is where I get mad at Gannon's dad for ever leaving his kids with her. But that's a whole nother story, and I won't get into it. Yeah, that woman.
Her letters alone to the judge are just like, what?
Will this now open up her mental records and all that from past years and things like that and other situations?
Yes.
And other well, we'll get to really see Letitia now.
It'll open up, because she was lying about all of her credentials. She was lying. She was lying to everybody. So she could just be a pathological liar. But remember she was like trying to catch butterflies and shit. Like she was
my good job. And then that kid.
Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
What kid was it? The one Tristan's that.
Aiden Fucci's trying that shit too.
Yeah. And then he's over there looking for the lights.
Let Michelle get her hands on his for a hot second.
That one.
But she was, and somebody brought up in chat that she was very calculated. She was very calculated in what she did. She knew exactly where she was putting him. She knew exactly where she had put him, which I think is going to work against her in this whole insanity thing. Because if she was truly, I'm trying to think of somebody who would have like a successful insanity to kind of compare it to.
Lori.
But she went back Lori's not competent. So she's not deeming insanity. She's not competent. So she doesn't even understand what the hell's happening. She thinks it's all flipping. It's all fake. The courtroom is fake. The judge is fake. They're all zombies. Everything is nothing's working. But for Letitia, she went back to where she had put him and took him back and then drove for days. That is calculated.
Yes.
Yeah.
So she's not going to have to just deem insanity for just that specific time where she shot, stabbed, beat, I don't even, all of it, whatever the hell she ended up doing. She's going to have to try to prove that she was still insane when she went back, picked him up, drove in a car. But then you have the cops, because remember, Letitia Stout was the one that was at the police station and was like reaching down her pants.
She likes making those little stunts in the courtroom. She's great for that. She's great for that.
You know what?
Yeah.
This is kind of a different topic of the subject, but do you know that like so many stars have developed in like the whole crime arena as far as the news reporters with these cases in the past couple of years? Like with Gabby and what's his face?
Mm-hmm.
Like he's on Brian, I forget his last name. He's like with Ashley, I'm so terrible at names, it's terrible. He's on
Ashley
that
Banfield?
show. Yeah, he's on that show way more now and like doing like the whole like JP? No.
JP Buno?
Brian,
JP Buno?
no, the other one, Brian something.
Brian Enting?
Yeah. And then Nate Eaton with the Lori Vallow thing and
Nate Eaton.
What's the girl?
Justin Love.
Girl that I like. She was covering the
Lauren Sharf.
Yes, I love her. Like all these like stars coming out of the news.
Bordelin. I don't know how to say her last name, but I know her all the time because of her coverage of like Kelsey Schelling and all that. And then Brian Wang from this case, from Oren and Orson.
Oh, okay. I don't know them so much.
I do. I know all these reporters now. I'm like, I know them all. I'm like, listen, everybody. I never have a clue who they were 10 years ago.
JP Buno does need his own, like, he needs to be an anchor on like that.
Dude, that guy needs his own show.
He was in it. Like he was dedicated. And I
want to hashtag him all the time. I like that guy. And other people are like, oh my gosh, he's so annoying. And I'm like, dude, I like that guy. I watch him just regular news and I don't live with him.
Yeah. Look at his face. I was watching.
I just like that guy.
I'm like, why?
Why not?
He's captivating.
So amazing.
He doesn't. He's just like, hashtag JP and hashtag Brian or whatever. And then, or hey JP. I'm just like, I want to hashtag him all the time. And I never do it, but I'm like, I want to hashtag that guy sometime.
I'm going to start a fangirl group for the anchors.
He totally
follow what they're doing.
Just hashtag them.
Yeah, a lot.
It's like trivia. It's like trivia night. Like which reporter covers which cases. And then my Tennessee chick, Ashley.
What about the one that has the accent? And she was covering Summer, and she kind of has like an accent. The Summer Wells case.
I think that's Ashley. Ashley Franco. What's her name?
She would be Tennessee.
Yeah, her accent is a little different. It's different. I don't know where it's from.
She covered. I started watching her when she covered Evelyn Boswell.
Oh, okay. Then yeah.
And then she covers Summer.
I'm behind on Summer. A little behind on Summer.
Okay, so Summer.
Amanda.
You just got the T in criminality. It's me. T. I need to turn my light on, but then it's like way over there. So.
Put that light on, Tay. Let's see.
I know. It's gonna get dark. It's gonna get dark in here. It's getting dark in here. Ashley Dansley. That's what it is. Ainsley.
Yes.
Ainsley. That's what it is.
Sorry, I just yelled at everybody.
Yeah. It's Ainsley. Okay, so Summer.
Thank you, Amber.
Oh, I forgot about Candace's video. Sorry, but yeah, go ahead.
No, we don't even need it. I think anybody who's, dude, Summer's Heart. I try to follow as much as I can, but there's like 1,000 YouTubers that cover that case right now. There's only a couple of them that I actually believe what they say. But now Candace has her own YouTube channel.
What? I am behind.
Who's
No.
tuning in? Sorry, I think this is funny.
Wait. I didn't know this. What happened?
What is she talking about?
Whoa.
Yeah,
whoa.
she started her own YouTube channel. Oh, you didn't load Candace Harrer's interview? Oh, shoot. Okay, maybe we can just share it. Can you grab it real quick? I want to watch that.
Yeah.
So
Wait a second.
yes.
Mom Candace, Summer's
Mhm.
mom Candace has a
Mhm.
YouTube channel now?
Yes.
What is she?
Mhm.
What
I'll
are, they,
send you the link.
Yeah, okay.
are they counting like crawdads or what? Like, what is she doing?
What's happening?
Well, I can tell you the last live that I watched, and I don't know, so I think somebody in chat said she was live again today. The last live I watched, she was fumbling around a little bit trying to figure out the board, which I was like, hey girl, I get you. Like I that's me. So I'm no hating here. And then she had no mods, no wrenches. So the chat just started to devour her. And then they were devouring each other. And then it wasn't on slow mode. And so you had like 800 people typing the same thing like 50,000 times. I can't even tell you how many people told her, honey, you need a mod. You need wrenches. Add me as a wrench. I support you.
Brandon,
You need mods. You need wrenches. I was like, and then it was, where's Summer and you suck. And like, and then it's like, ignore the haters. And then it's like, haters go away. And then it's like,
Oh
you
my
need
gosh.
wrenches. And it was, that was literally the entire live chat. And I was like, I'm going to get a headache. And I was like, you people who are in the chat, you can see that 20,000 other people just wrote the same thing, right? And it did, like, why do you think your comment is going to change what she does? But I was like, I'm not going to say anything.
I'm
just
so
to sit
glad
here and
you watched
observe.
that and not me.
So then she muted herself and then could not figure out how to unmute herself. And I was like, girl, I still not hating because this shit
I'm
gets
not
me every
helping her.
time.
I'm not.
I was like, Candace has never known who to trust. No, you're 100% right, Amanda. No, the whole thing, it was an absolute dumpster fire. It was a total shit show, MJ. She got so much hate, and then she had so much love, and then there was just this constant battle of love, hate, and who needs wrenches, and who wants a wrench, and you should give me a wrench, and I want a wrench, and you should give me a wrench, and I did give so-and-so a wrench. And I was, so anyway, she ends up muting herself, and then 20,000 people have to tell her that she's muted. Right. And then then 20,000 people are trying to help her unmute while the other 20,000 people are still talking about how much they hate her. And then you have all of those people who are telling those haters to get out of the chat and then reminding Candace that she's muted and that she needs mods.
I might have to go watch those now.
And then she just ends the live. So she stayed muted and
know
couldn't
what?
figure out how to unmute.
I
and
had
it was
enough.
done.
I got my full share of her from her TikTok videos. That's like 12 seconds, right?
So most of the content on her channel, most of the content on her channel is her TikTok videos. Hold on, I'm gonna try to I'm gonna turn my camera on and try to go get my light on.
Do you want me to play this video now?
Yeah, do you have it?
Yeah.
Okay, so the Candace one?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is Grandis. So this is Candace Senior.
Are you watching the whole thing?
There's three Candaces. No, because it was. Are you playing the one that I sent you? I think it starts off like right away, or maybe you found a different one. I don't know.
Story at 6, day 2, and a planned search for missing 6-year-old.
That one?
No, the one I sent you just has the interview. It's like 3 minutes of 3.5 minutes of her interview. But so Grandis only did one written article interview right towards the beginning of when Summer went missing. And then she's really not been heard from since, unless she has kind of corresponded via messages with a couple people on Facebook social media. And then that's a whole nother set of drama. There's so much drama around Summer. It's so hard to find legitimate, like, just information about what's happening with the case, because it caused like so many people hate each other over it. It's crazy. You thought Watts was bad, like Summer's really bad.
I go right to Tiffany for Summer. Tiffany does a great job following her, and
right, well, yeah, and she stays up on all the latest info.
Yes, yeah.
So, and that's kind of the thing. It's like a lot of the other ones are not doing that. And I was supposed to get up to turn my light on, and Christine's like, "Fine, I won't play the video then. Forget you." I'm gonna.
I'm just going to the one you sent.
Oh, okay.
I'm just getting the right one.
Okay. it just turned into like we all hate each other, and I'm like, I'm not about that. I don't like all the hate for each other, but it's very
a lot going on in that case for sure.
There's so much going on.
Yeah.
So we know for sure that they have been back out searching. We've heard a couple different things that they're back out because the weather's better, and so that's why they're back out and they're hitting some of the areas of interest. We've also heard that they actually have intel to go to these specific spots, so you can kind of take that for what you want. The sheriff down there, I don't even think he's technically in charge of the case anymore because it was turned over to TBI, but he says that, because Don was arrested for the drinking and driving, and so he has to serve. It was like 11 months, but they said if he could do 180 days if he was on good behavior and followed all the treatment program protocols. If I say something that's inaccurate with times or dates, you guys feel free to correct me. But Jax, hey. So he's behind bars. So now she's got her own channel. The sheriff is saying that nobody is cooperating in the Summer case, and they both lawyered up. Candace goes on another YouTube channel and says, I don't have a lawyer. So it's like, well, who do you believe? Like, he's saying that they're not cooperating, that they've lawyered up. She's saying, I don't have a lawyer. So I have no clue.
Yeah.
But we do know that there is new searches happening. Okay.
And you want the video now? I'm ready for
Yep.
it.
I don't know. It's kind of small over there, though, in that little.
No, I'm
little
going to do it. There, yeah.
Just joking.
Play.
Now it's all pissed off.
Oh, sorry,
So you
guys.
tried to make me too big.
I thought. Anyway.
We'll watch the little blue circle for a second.
Yeah.
So I have really, as much as I care about Summer and Summer being found safe, I don't even know the truth of the circumstances anymore because everybody's been everywhere and I have not been able to watch obviously everything. You can't watch that much stuff. So I don't know all the ins and out details. So I try to kind of just pray, honestly.
Yeah, I'm with you, Tay. I'm with you. I feel like she's gotten the attention, and like you said, there's a lot of YouTubers covering her. Summer gets a lot of attention.
Okay, I have this.
She gets
Let's
a lot
do
of
it while
attention.
it's ready.
Okay, do it.
She should.
Oh,
Tonight on me. And Candace and I got up that morning. She come out and took me into the ER because my leg was messing up on me, and we were afraid something was wrong with my knee. I have a knee replacement, and she was worried that there was something wrong with it. And she took me into the hospital, and I ended up getting a shot for it to get rid of the pain. And they prescribed me medication to take to get the swelling down out of my knee and around my knee because it was inflamed. And then we waited around for my prescription. Summer went swimming that day at the horse stables, I believe it was. And then we come back and I went in my camper, and after we brought my groceries in for me, and the boys helped with that, and of course Summer. And I laid down and went to sleep, and I got up and I was sitting in my doorway, and we come out, and Candace asked me what I was doing. I said, well, we got to transplant these little cactuses into bigger pots. And we did that, and then Summer come in and had a piece of peppermint, which is her favorite, and then she went in. She said, Mama, I want to go play with the boys. Candy walked her back to the house, and she asked the boys to keep an eye on her, and that's the last time I seen her.
Tell me, when you first realized that Summer was missing, what was going through your mind, and what was it like here?
To be blunt, it was hell. I mean, and I apologize, I'm blunt. As everybody knows, I have a missing daughter. She's been gone for 12 years. And all I could say is, oh God, not again. And I couldn't do nothing but cry. And we yelled for her, and we yelled for her, and yelled for her. And we could not find her. Candy was in hysterics. And we never did find her. She called 911, and she called Donnie, and we sent the boys down over the hill, and I stood in front of over by the edge there and watched them. And was praying to God every minute that nobody would take them. And there was no sign of her.
Do you believe that someone took Summer, or do you believe that she wandered off? What do you believe happened?
I believe somebody took her. I know people say it doesn't happen, but it does happen. It happens in small towns. It happens in big towns. It happens in the country. And I believe somebody took her. Candace and I got up that morning. She came out and took me to my...
Is that it?
Okay, so what do you guys think of
So
Grandis?
I mean, she's kind of believable. Like, she kind of adds to me. She kind of adds like a, some believability to what happened.
Okay, chat. What do you guys think? What do you guys think of Grandis? The rational first assumption is that she wandered off. What WTF did they go straight to fearing there was an abductor in the area?
Yeah, she did say I was praying to God nobody would take them too, like also.
Yeah, she was praying that nobody was going to come and get the boys, but they didn't actually know what happened to Summer yet. So how is she praying that somebody was that she didn't want somebody to come get the boys?
Yeah.
Very monotone. Michelle, what do you think?
Very monotone.
I can't hear you. You're muted now.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Can you hear me now? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear. I lagged a little bit on the video was still playing for me. What did you last say?
So what do you think? What do you think of Grandis's interview?
Oh, I was still lagging on behind of the end of the video.
I don't believe Candace, the mom.
I don't either. I don't either. I think we're getting the excuses now, the changing of excuses that, I was given a shot that day. So that now puts her in a place where she was foggy that day now. So now anything that she possibly have said, does that get like, how is that used now?
Yeah, MJ, why'd she take so long to say this?
But she's already interviewed with the police. She doesn't actually have to talk to the news or to us.
No, not at all.
So she's interviewed by police. She says that the police know when she's in state and when she's out of state, and they know where she is and they can locate her anytime, basically. I always had a hard time with Grandis because of the fact that her daughter, Rose Bly, has been missing for 12 years. So how much does this trigger, everything she went through with her own kid?
And I think also that it's hard for me to know in my mind that there is just definitely a difference, like a cultural difference between, us in California and them and where they're at in Tennessee. And, there's just cultural divides that I try to take into account. Okay, so it's going to be different. Her affect is just so different than what I'm used to that it's hard, but I don't know if that's normal out there or,
I kind of went down this in the beginning. I felt, I live in the inner city. We tend to say words that maybe don't sound right. I say it all the time. I tend to talk like a 5-year-old. So when I do, when I hear Candace say certain things and Don, I get it. Like, I'm like, oh no, they're not lying. They're just, this is how they would say that, you know, but it's just.
But they're not actually from Tennessee.
They're from, well, Don's like
Utah.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know where.
And
Candace
then she's Wisconsin, and then they were in Arkansas, and then they went to Tennessee when his mom passed away and left them the property.
I knew there was an Arkansas stop for sure.
They were in Arkansas, I believe, when Rose Bly went missing.
They remind me of like a whole like, and I mean, I'm literally just talking about these people, not like the sheriffs or any of the like TBI or anything, but like this family reminds me of like, you know, the people that are like in the mountains, the Appalachian Mountains, and they're just so closed off, and they like education in college or high school or middle school or whatever, 6th grade is just, you know, whatever. Like it's just
highest
it's a different
level of
way.
Education.
Whatever you had, it's just a different level, you know, but they're just so like secluded and doing their own like society thing that it's like, I don't relate to these people. I don't understand. So I don't know.
It's very hard, and it looks very bad. You know, it's a way of life that if you do not live there and you're not from it, and you will never understand it. You just won't.
I mean, they're probably wondering like what about Summer's case caught so much attention, because you know, it probably, I hate to say that it probably happens more often than we know, and it's just not out there in the media the way Summer's case is, and they're probably just like, damn, like
see when Chris McDonough did the interview at the home, and he did the walkthrough and all that, and you know, I don't want this to ever be taken wrong, but for some people, you know, we would think to do X, Y, and Z before we know a big interview is coming, and you know, just to and I know she just lost her child and all that's going on. There's just something with the shed, the way they lived, but
like they don't know that that's something that they maybe should be ashamed of, or that we would be ashamed of. Like, they don't have that level of like comprehension that that's something that's shameful.
Right.
No,
clean it
they're
up.
fine. That's totally fine.
I didn't know how to say that without, you know, I didn't want to, but you know, if just certain things, you know, you could tell at Summer was not at the dentist. You could tell, you know, and then the relationship with Hunter, you know, believe it or not, that's kind of common. Even in the city, you tend to see these teenagers with a somewhat grown adult, but the grown adult is at the same mind capacity as that 15, 16-year-old is, you know, and
I've always struggled with the age stuff though, because like I have a hard time. My best friend's daughter is, you know, she's 14 now. I would take her places with me without her mom.
Yeah.
And if there was ever to be a big fight between us, we've known each other since before our kids were born. So she would never stop me from taking her with me anywhere I would ever want to go with her. And so I always struggle with that being inappropriate.
The
because it's a
inappropriate part
boy?
is the text messages. No, it's the text messages and things like that. The intention behind those videos and stuff. Like, I don't know. It's just,
I think Candace
was
wrong. Maybe a little lonely from Don as well, and some crazy way that young boy maybe gave her a little bit of attention, and in trade she could go buy him liquor and they could smoke things together, and Summer can go play in the water hole somewhere, you know. Forgive me, I am behind on this case, but
yeah, I think so too. Like, I tend to talk to like a group of like my daughter's friends or something, and you know, the boys are just hanging around, and you know, and they're all like 14 or 15 or whatever, and it's fun to talk to them. They're funny, like whatever. But like, I would not ever.
You won't be going to buy their drinks and their cigarettes.
The line that Candace crossed, like with just the vibe, like just the feeling that you get around, like I feel uncomfortable even watching those TikToks or looking at those messages, you know, like it would just never happen.
Yeah. I see it all too much.
Hold on a second. I got in chat. There's a total side conversation happening that I have to be a part of. I apologize. So Amelia says, did you find your kitty? And I missed this, Tiff. I don't know what happened. She said, I can't imagine what I would have been like if it had been my child. I know how I reacted to my cat. And then Tiff responds and says, they found him, but he had passed away several years ago. He was in the wall of the basement.
Tiff, what
Okay,
is
you've
it?
got to point me to the right live to find this story because that's like a true crime in itself. What happened to the kitty? Amanda, criminality, but you wouldn't drink or smoke with her though. Well, I would drink or smoke, but not buy it for her or give to her. I just want to clarify. It's not like I'm like some saint who's like, oh my gosh, there's a kid around and nothing bad's ever gonna happen. I'm not that, but I don't drink anyway, so it really doesn't matter. But I would vape. Okay, so Tiffany, you got to tell me where that story is because I can't imagine. I want to know about your cat.
Nobody's explaining.
I know.
What happened to the cat?
We're looking for it.
I'm like, I need answers. I'm gonna put a picture of Tiffany's cat on the thumbnail now because this is like topic of conversation.
The cat in the wall. What is happening? Is she here?
She is here. She's just not typing back.
She's like, oh no,
but not with the 15-year-old. I know you. I know what you meant, Amanda. I was just joking. Oh yeah. So okay. So back to Grandis's reaction. Grandis leaving immediately. I went both ways because I was like, okay, this could either be really triggering for her, or this could be like, or she's like out because she doesn't want to say something that she's not supposed to say.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Hold on. She found the cat alive. It died years later. Okay, that makes me feel so much better. Is that true? I don't know. Then she found him in the wall.
Wow, in the wall?
Maybe the cat went missing. She found him in the wall, and then he survived and lived a long time. But it was traumatic for her when her cat was missing because she couldn't find her cat. Wow. Which I've been there and been there 100 times. Yes.
Everybody send us pictures of your animals, and I'll make it a feels video.
Do we love animals?
I will put.
You know anything about us? We all love animals.
Get the animals.
Okay, so are we still on summer or are we moving on?
We're still on summer. Okay. So I know I'm so transfixed on this cat story that I can't.
Move? And then she moved? She moved. Did she lost the cat while she was moving?
No, she's here. She's here.
Oh, there she is. Okay, there she is. Hold on. Okay. All right. So Teresa, I found my cat that same night, but yes, he passed away. Okay.
Now we know what happened.
I was like, did your kitty like die in the wall? And then he was like, live it. And then you lived there. And then you found the kitty like years later dead in the wall. Like I would have freaked the F out.
We're so sorry for the cat, Tiff. Oh.
I would have freaked out. So, okay. So the cat was in the wall, came out, and then lived a long, happy, healthy life.
Everyone knew how.
I feel like I can move on now.
How much of our mod chats were like full of just pictures of my cat.
Love animals. It's so bad. Okay, so this is a little side story just because we're talking about the animal stuff. My husband likes animals, but he's not like me. And so like if there's a dog that's loose, I am the person who's going to go get the dog. Like no fear, like I'm going to get the dog and I'm going to find its owner, and that's just how life's going to be. And I mean, I've had to leave on 4th of July during our fireworks show so many times because I see random dogs just running down the street and I'm like, yep, see you later. Got to go get it. And so the other day we're driving, we have some new neighbors like it's like the side of the block that we live on. And there was a little white dog that was out in the street. And so I stopped my car and I was driving. He was in the passenger seat and he was like, just drive. And I was like, I'm not driving. There's a dog in the middle of the street. And he was like, just go home. Like the dog obviously lives right here. Like it's fine. I'm like, it's not fine because it's in the street. So like I stopped the car and like I'm about to get out when the neighbor like walks out of his backyard and I'm like, is this your dog? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, well, she's in the street. And so like he comes over to get her and my husband's just like, I'm like, I don't know why you even bother to say anything because like we've been together 15 years. This is life.
Teresa does it with coyotes too. Remember the night with the coyote? I'm like, Teresa, you're gonna get eaten by this coyote. Don't.
My neighbors went to Florida recently and their dogs got out And so here I am, like chasing the dogs down the street because I knew they were gone. And I scared one of them. So I scared the girl dog. There's two of them. Scared the girl dog. She like crapped right in the middle of the sidewalk. I don't know how I scared her so much, but she literally, I'm like, I'm not picking that up. So I put the dogs back in the yard and I shut it and I leave the crap there and I go back to my house and I look at my phone and I text her. I'm like, your dogs were out. I put them back. I caught them. I don't know how. And she goes, I know. I just watched you.
No
They were
way.
watching me on the cameras chase their dogs around.
I know you're doing it.
They're like, look at her go. This is
Yeah,
funny.
they're
Like,
like,
Over there, it's over there.
there she
we
goes.
know,
Oh, there,
thank
there
you.
she goes again.
The dog saver.
Oh man. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so speaking of animals and the Summerwells case, Tiff, if you can you please tell me the importance of the dogs' names and when the dogs died? I watched your live and I was so flipping confused, but there was something about the dogs, the mom dog, the baby dog, and how that mattered. And I was going to message you and I never did. So if you're here and you are, so if you can just give me a little synopsis so I can understand the dog situation. Okay, so what do we think? Ultimately, before we move on from the summer case for this live, what do you guys think happened?
You want to go, Chris?
Well, I think I don't know because I think it's very suspicious that like Don, the whole thing with him like going to work, and then I think there was like some confusion about like when he got off or the boy was with them or not with them, and I think there's like weirdness around like when he was driving home, the way home and all that. But I also think I think Candace is just completely suspicious also, like all of her is completely suspicious. So I think the parents did something, but I don't know what.
I'm stuck. I'm stuck between is she or is she being hidden? I go back to that for some reason. I don't know. I can't help but.
I mean, and like they searched and they searched and they searched, but like the chances of, I mean, Summer is so small. And if you look on a satellite, like let's say we've all pulled up the satellite images of their house, right? So you look on that satellite and you say, oh, let's think, where would the body be? The body would be like a pin, a tiny, like you wouldn't even see it. Like Summer's so tiny and she could be anywhere there. And then there's hills, like we're only looking at a flat picture, but there's hills and there's not, I mean, she could be anywhere. She's so small, like they could have hidden her.
That's why I fall in between that because it's just like, what else could it be? It's only, for me, it's only one or two.
You do not think she was abducted?
I don't.
You do not think that she possibly wandered off and got hurt and ended up stuck somewhere and was never found?
Well, because remember on the call, they said the mom just got back from a walk or something. And then also on the police call, they had said originally they said that the last time Summer had been seen was walking down the road towards wherever. And then on the actual 911 call, they said the mom just got back from a walk. She can't find the daughter or whatever.
Oh, on the dispatch call, because we don't have the 911
call.
call. So on the dispatch, it says that she went for a walk, or that she had, was it a walk?
Like or a run or something. I don't. Yeah,
it was something that didn't make sense. But when we asked Candace about that, she said no, she doesn't run anywhere or anything like that. And then I think she also said she didn't walk either. She actually got in the truck and drove. But
that's not what they said. Like,
right. I would like to hear the 911 calls.
Yeah. And then it's weird. Like she called Dawn, and then Dawn called the police, and then she also called the police, and. No, I think that whole thing with the walking down the street, the last time she was seen was walking on the street.
Okay, so that was in a news article that supposedly she was last seen at 7 o'clock walking down the street by herself.
The road, yeah.
And then it never came up again. Nobody ever brought that up again besides like us folk.
Never heard that.
You're right. It was very like not addressed again.
And then what do you guys think about the red truck? Because the red truck, was supposedly spotted, and then they supposedly found it. Then they didn't find it. Then they supposedly found it. Then they didn't find it.
That gives me the same like Delphi vibes, like about the white car.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I agree.
There's been too much of that in this case. A lot of that.
Okay, so the significance of the dogs to me has nothing to do with all he was saying, but that wasn't it. It was a very interesting live. People were really mad at you, but I thought it went down really well. I don't know if you guys watched that, but it was she did a live with Benny Keys. The Wells had 8 dogs at least that we know of when Summer disappeared, and that was a big deal because the dogs never barked. If somebody had come up on the property, the dogs never barked. And then when Don said he came home, the dogs were like nowhere to be found. But then when Dotson came over later that night, he said the dogs were all over the place. So I don't know.
So Jay said she thinks the truck is a deflection. And like, I think that the way they're looking for the red truck, they're like, this person's not a suspect or whatever. Like, I think that he is a suspect and they're just trying to tell him, or they're just trying to say this person's not, we just want to talk to him. But
who, Dotson?
The
the red truck guy.
Yeah. Joey said she thought it was a deflection. I don't really think it's a deflection. I think it's more important than they like have said, honestly.
I agree with Helena as well.
And 8 dogs, and none of them protected her from being taken.
Right. No.
Those were friendly dogs. Remember when Chris went there and none of them were like barking or mean dogs. They were just happy dogs.
They barked though, but I guess if you just hear dogs barking constantly, you don't really, it doesn't alert you to anything because it's not any different. But if the dogs knew the person, which is what MJ's saying, then
yeah.
And if it was an abduction, I think it was be pretty clear that whoever it was is a known person.
Debate right now.
What?
I think Tiffany likes it too. It's okay.
Spivvy is having fun in the chat, and I'm amused by it.
The dogs have all the answers.
Yeah, they're. If you want your debate, you're gonna get it.
Good dogs.
We're up for it.
Well, okay, so like Callie says, like, wouldn't Summer have screamed? But would she have screamed if she knew the person that she was going with?
Right. That's why I don't like.
And if she had screamed, would they have heard her? And then you have the one neighbor who said that they did hear screams, but they didn't know that it was anything. That's why there's so much to it. It's going to be a very crazy. This is another one that I hope that the cops know what they're doing, and I hope that they have the information that they're keeping close to their vest, and we just don't know yet.
But also, like, this isn't like a highly sophisticated crime ring. Like, how are they getting past the TBI for so long? Like, like what's...
I don't think they're looking at a crime ring. I think they're looking at the parents.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, but it's not a highly sophisticated set of, set of parents. Like, how is it so
I'm not convinced of anything in this case. That's the one thing is I am not convinced of anything. I am not convinced that they killed her. I am not convinced that it wasn't an accident. I'm not convinced that somebody didn't take her. I'm not convinced that she didn't just wander away and something I'm not convinced of anything.
Yeah.
I have I have no theory of this is what I believe happened. I think that's why that's in my opinion why it becomes so high profile is because of the lack of information given out. 2, the fact that there's the information that is given out contradicts the other information given out so often.
I think we probably just need to have faith. We just need to have faith in law enforcement for this one.
Mm-mm.
But you know what I do not like is like the constant updates, constant videos about nothing. Like there's nothing new is happening. And
well, I think the hardship is that they're with Don before he got locked up.
Oh my God.
He was all over the place. So there was always something happening.
Always.
So he would go to the YouTube channels that hated him. He'd go to the YouTube channels that liked him. He'd be on his own YouTube channel. He'd anywhere he possibly could.
They make up
and
big shenanigans and schemes to like make a new story like next week.
Oh, every post became the new
content. Because everybody has to dissect everything that he said to figure out, is he telling the truth? Is he lying? Is this real? Is this fake? Hold on.
It's true. I agree. I do.
Yeah. So the pastor, though, I think she had kind of touched on the pastor earlier. That guy that took the kids golfing.
Mm-hmm.
He just gives me the creeps, also. So yeah.
A lot of people had they had a bunch of mixed feelings about him as well. They didn't know how
maybe it's like
he was received a little funny. I noticed.
I mean,
kind of when I fell behind. Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I can't decide about any of it because then, like, does she want attention or does she not? Like, like.
Yeah, she's confusing.
Yeah,
confusing. Does she not want to be on the news or does she? I don't know.
Well, is she still running the family blog? That's another thing I don't know. I don't check
their
that
website.
Yeah. Because she was like, I don't want to be in the middle of this, but then she's like, here I am in the middle of this, and then
then she gave like exclusive interviews.
Helena brings up a very good point. It does. It boils down to parental neglect either way, the way I look at it.
I agree with that 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sorry, I know that some people don't think it's relevant, but his past is relevant here. His past is relevant when she's 5 years old and his sister that, has made the claims was, I think, 4 at the time that started.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the difference between DHS there and in California? Like, it's backwards. Like, those kids were being neglected and should have been taken, but they weren't. And in California, it's a whole other problem. So, like, there's problems all over with DHS. So it's universal.
Oh yeah. So so they had gone, and I don't know, is it DHS there? So they went to the house, and that's when the older boys had to be separated from Summer because of the age difference. So the room when she walks in, where the boys' bunk beds are, that room didn't exist. They built that. That's what you see all the pictures of. So the house before was literally that kitchen, bathroom, and then the downstairs. And they all slept downstairs, and then they had the kitchen and the bathroom. And that was all there was. I struggle with this simply because this man is a contractor and can build stuff. So I don't know why there wouldn't be tons of land, why it's not built, but that's another story. So they said the older boys had to have a separate space to sleep. So they built that part. But from my understanding, I believe more work is now being done to the house because she can't get the boys back without other things being done.
Well, I hope that the house gets fixed up real nice. Or I hope that I just hope that the kids just, I feel like I saw somewhere that they're very happy where they're at. Like, that they're feeling more comfortable.
I don't know. I don't ever believe that shit.
Right. Yeah.
Not at that age, after being with their parents so long, and they're used to that environment. They're used to
They're not going to tell us, the kids are totally miserable and they're being abused in their foster home. They're not going to tell us that. So I mean, they very well could be more happier or in doing very well. I don't know, but I don't trust that shit.
Yeah.
The house used to be bigger.
Contractor or not, it costs a lot to add an addition to your home. I don't disagree with you, but you have all of this land and you've lived there for 14 years. I think, was it 14 or 10 to 14? Don't quote me on the amount of years, but it was many, many, many years. Why there hadn't been something done up until the year prior where they added one little additional space. That's all I'm saying. Sell off some of the dang land.
Well, the kids don't want to go home.
Where's that at? I missed it.
I
also heard the kids don't want to go home. And that's very possible.
Maybe there was like an accident. Like, did Dawn have did they hunt or anything? Like, maybe there was like an accident with like a weapon or something, or like maybe they were like doing something at the water area, like by the river, like with, I don't know. It was almost 4th of July. Maybe it was like a firework or something. I don't know. Like,
I agree, Scott. I agree.
Yeah, at least clean the house. Well, I think what you're running into is you have 6 people living in the home and it's literally 3 rooms. There's nowhere to put 6 people's worth of stuff in 3 rooms. One of those rooms being a bathroom. So,
well, Allie and her kids were there too, weren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Allie and the kids had stayed there, but I mean, where the heck did they sleep?
But they were supposed to be living there, and then they ended up leaving they left sooner than they were supposed to, I thought, because of what happened. I don't know.
Don't
they didn't
go
live there
under
at the time.
Don't they go under the island in the kitchen to go downstairs? Isn't that
Yeah.
like the deal when you go in?
Yeah, that's where the downstairs is. But you can also
when
go
she
through the
made
back
Chris do
door,
that.
and it just takes you right into the downstairs.
Okay.
When Chris was there, and then he was like, "Oh, can we go through the other door?" And she
That's
was like,
right.
"Yeah, you can do it." And I was like, "Oh my God, please don't let him fall."
And she's like, "No, my husband comes down
You
here.
can do
You
it."
can too." He's like,
Yeah.
"Okay."
This is what you signed up for. Okay,
Go for it,
now we
Chris.
just have to go across the zip line to get to the bathroom.
But he did it, man. He went down. He was like, "All right, here I go." Yeah,
Every time you go to shut the door, very.
They
Up
were
this rock
staying
wall,
at the
get back to the
house.
front.
They were staying at the house because remember, so Allie said that H's dad and H's dad's friends all came down, and she gave them a place to stay. One of his friends being Jose, the infamous Jose, and they were all staying there. But then when Candace and Jose got closer, Allie got mad, and that's when the fight ensued, and she left. And then they called somebody, I think, called Dawn and said, "Hey, you got some other dude staying at your house," and that's when he left and came back down. I don't know. I just want that. I want that. I want resolution. I want to find Summer regardless.
They
It is
should
a
sell
freaking mess.
tickets. It's an amusement
It's a
park or
mess.
something. I don't know.
I don't believe he was.
I don't know how Tiffany keeps up with it. I don't.
Well, but Tiffany, she focuses on Summer. Like that's one of her focuses. So
Summer
that's
and
why if you want
Passion.
deep dives on Summer, I know that that CDT, ATS and Tiffany, you guys all do a great job bringing different perspectives and
when you were doing
things.
that interview with Allie, that first interview, and in the background they're like shooting off like their fireworks. They're like explosions in the background, and they're just like, "Oh, it's just somewhere. It's 4th of July or whatever."
Was it even? I don't even think it was 4th of July though. Was it around? I don't even remember.
I think, yeah. And I was like, "Oh my God!" Like run, and like everybody's eyes were like so big. Like, holy, is everything okay? And they're like, "Oh yeah, they're just playing fireworks." So are you gonna tell them to stop or like what? Okay.
Hold on, let's see. If he says, "Sorry, there's a lot of cost to sell a parcel of your land." Is there? I don't know. I didn't know it costs you to sell your land. I didn't know that. So that's a lack of my education on having hundreds of acres of land, or 10. I exaggerate the number, but I don't own that here in Southern California. We don't have that really. So my mistake. If it costs you a lot of money, then I guess I don't know. I thought you would just make money off of selling pieces of your land.
Yeah, I think it was right
let's
by
see.
the 3rd or the 4th. It was right near 4th of July with those big
Was it?
bombs going
Those
on.
are so.
Yeah.
That was such a. I think that like there was like divine intervention on that interview, because I don't know if you guys remember, but at the very end, my internet cut and I was not able to get back into that live at all. It would not allow me back. I was like, well, I guess this one's done.
Nope. Out.
But then Chris went there and he interviewed her. So, and then he interviewed Hunter, and that is neither here nor there at this point. But Hunter had some very weird things to say.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about him though, because you could just expect kids to be weird. They're teenagers, whatever. So like, just write it off.
He was everything I expected him to be. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes. I didn't see. He was everything down to the.
I think that they should be able to solve it without him. Like, okay, you got his story, you interviewed him.
Oh yeah. Well, see, I guess because if I have any theory, my theory is that it has nothing to do with what happened during that day. Whatever happened either on their way home or once they got home until the call. I don't believe anything happened. I think everything from that morning and anything to do with him is irrelevant. That's my own. I can say my theory.
I agree.
Okay. Let's see. I believe Summer had an accident and that it was handled by her mother and her grandmother. I think that's very possible. The buyer can also pay. It costs them $0 to just list the house for sale, and proceeds come from the sale of the home. I don't even think they need to sell the house. I was just talking about a chunk of land. But just popping into chat. Damn it, Janet. See back covering cases. And then Tanya, I don't know if you're still here, but I did see you earlier. I just didn't want to interrupt the ladies when they were talking. So I did see you, and I thank you for coming in if you're still here, I hope. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. What else? What else is there? Anything else we should cover with the summer case? I only have a quick update on Serenity because not much has actually moved with the Serenity case. But when we did the live about Serenity and the update, it was still under major speculation whether her mom, Catherine, aka Abby, was actually pregnant or not. But she did appear in court, and it is confirmed that she is 7 months pregnant. So her and Dakota, which was the boyfriend, if you guys remember, are having a baby.
The stepmom is pregnant?
No, Abby, the mom.
Oh.
Serenity's mom is pregnant. Not Harmony.
Oh, okay.
Right. So DJ, the dad, the biological dad is like, says he's not going to back down, and he's going to go after anybody that failed his kid pretty much. But Dakota and Abby, which her real name is Catherine, both pled not guilty, and she is, it's just been confirmed that she's 7 months pregnant. So I don't have a lot more update on that quite yet. But Alley Cattails.
When is Evelyn Boswell's trial? I really want to watch that one.
Coming up.
Did I post that? I think she's on my list of trials. Hold on, I'll go look.
Someone just posted it. I can't remember.
I posted, well, I have the whole list of trials. We can touch on Valo-Daybell. I don't know if you guys want to touch on that. Did you guys read all this stuff? So they're not going to separate the cases. That was a win for the prosecution on Valo-Daybell.
I don't think that she's going to get tried.
Let's see. Okay, so Judge Boyce signs an order sealing the Department of Health competency reports regarding Lori Vallow as her mental health commitment extension will end next week. The reports from the two doctors have been submitted to the court.
I don't think she's going to.
I don't know how they're going to hold him without trial, though. If she has to be competent for them to be able to.
Do you think they'll go? What state are they in again? Do you think they'll go after death penalty?
They're in Idaho.
So what does that mean? Do they have death penalty or not?
They do have the death penalty, yes.
All
right, let me see. Let me find the list of trials. I think I had her date. So the other trial that was supposed to be coming up just got postponed because he's crazy. Do you guys remember the Tinder date guy who killed Kevin Bacon?
Kevin Bacon?
Not the actor Kevin Bacon. He killed a guy named Kevin Bacon that he met on Tinder. I think it was Tinder or Grindr or I don't know, one of those.
Grindr.
So his trial was supposed to be starting. I was excited about that, but that one didn't. That one got postponed. Let me see if I have September 2022 is what I have listed for Megan Boswell.
Oh, okay.
All right, let's see. Lori Vallow is a good actress. I don't know, man. I think that she's. I know what I want to talk about. She's totally brainwashed.
I want to talk about that mom that left the kid, and he was. They found him. He was like 4 or 5, and he's autistic. And she left him, and then she abandoned him. And then she said at court, like, I left him to save him from me.
Oh, the little autistic boy in Ohio.
Yeah. And I'm like, and I think I made a post about it on the page, but
yeah,
I think that woman, like, her penalties and like her like being in court should not have anything to do with like child neglect or any child, crime.
Well, child endangerment. She left him like in the middle of the road.
Right. But the alternative, so many times we hear they're being thrown off a bridge or whatever. Like, she saved the kid's life. Like, and we can't expect somebody that's in that state of mind to do it the right way. Like to think of a rational way. They're not rational. Like, she saved his life. Like, if anything, she should be charged with a crime against the community. Like, causing.
She's gonna get charged with a child endangerment because she dropped him off in the middle of the street, and she should have dropped him off somewhere else. And the fact that when she was asked about it, she said that he was like, she dropped him at somebody's house, but she didn't. She dropped him in the middle of a street, and he was autistic.
Was there anything done on her yet?
Just her saying just her saying like that. I think she was interviewed by News, if I remember correctly, and she was said like why'd you do it? And she said to save him from me, because she was thinking about hurting him.
So like let's think about Chris Watts had his whole drive to pull over anywhere, pull over anywhere and put the kids anywhere, whatever, wherever. That would have saved their lives, like this woman.
You're right.
Stopped.
I totally see your point.
I get what I get totally what you're saying. At the end of the day, the baby was safe. She did what was right.
I hope they all get the help they need. I hope.
Where was she from though? She was from like Indiana. Where was she from? Because she wasn't from Ohio.
I forgot what state.
She drove like across state lines and then dropped him, and then she took off down to Kentucky.
I mean, we don't know. Maybe she was driving to like some forest where that wasn't near her home. She thought she was going to off this kid, and then she stopped.
What you're saying?
Like Lippy said, but it was like why drive so far? And I agree, Lippy. Why drive so far?
Well, why not just leave? If you're leaving anyway, just leave him there. Put him at your neighbor's. Put him on your neighbor's front porch. Put him in your neighbor's backyard.
Maybe like she thought she left the house. She thought she was going to off him somewhere, and then she didn't. Like I don't know. I just think that it shouldn't be a crime. It shouldn't be it stops other women from saving their kids, well, either way, I'm going to be in trouble. There's no way out of this for me to not be in trouble for like hurting my kid or neglecting my kid. But it should be like a felony, a felony against, the community and like resources. Like, I don't know, just not domestic, not family related crime.
This is actually a good one. This is a good discussion because this does. I mean, how do you guys feel in chat?
The husband has been related on an unrelated charge. He was arrested on an unrelated charge, but they're suspicious of him. That little boy's dad? I didn't know that. See, take him to the fire station or hospital. See, some places that's still illegal because every state has their own age requirement. Some of them you have to be within like the first week of birth.
Disturbing
the peace. And if you drop them off there, they'll find you and still charge you.
I know like disturbing the peace is like a misdemeanor and you have like alcohol can somewhere, but there should just like make another, disturbing a felony of disturbing the peace. Like all these people had to come in and solve your problem that you made, but unrelated to the child. Like you saved the child.
I still think she put him in danger.
I think he'd be in more danger.
Yes, if he had stayed with her, he would have been. But I just don't.
But in that state of mind, like we can't expect.
That was almost like I don't have the balls to do it myself, so I'm going to stick him out in a very busy highway bridge and have somebody else hit him, and then it'll. But it wasn't. Oh my gosh, wasn't an isolated highway bridge. Like somebody was going to find him.
That way.
Like somebody was going to see him.
I thought,
right.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, you guys got me stuck now.
A new missing mom. Husband said she. Oh, okay. No, go above. Okay, I missed it. A new missing mom. Husband said she went to Walgreens at 10 p.m. in shorts and a tank and disappeared. He's been arrested. Oh.
Vivi, we're glad you're here.
Yeah, Lippy, we're with you. We see Lippy.
We never agree.
That's okay. We like each other anyway.
So if the boy had been hit by a car, I do feel like then at that point, then
she's not charged with murder though, correct? Is she charged with attempted murder?
No.
Is she charged with child endangerment?
Endangerment, yeah. Yeah, I think it is
or
endangerment.
What is a child?
It has something to do with abandoning a child.
Charge of them or whatever.
Yeah. If he had been hit by a car, then it's like what's the manslaughter or like whatever, like then it would be a whole other thing. Yeah, but as it is, he was seen and he was saved and he's alive. And I mean, what is aside from her being a great mother and not having done it, what's the next best option? Well,
she needs some therapy.
Yeah, she needs help. They need help.
Yeah.
And I don't think he should be given back to that biological parent. Like that's obviously not going to work.
I agree. Okay, let's see.
That's a hard one.
All right, so let's see. Did they ever find the 2-day-old baby in Tennessee? Oh.
Somebody said Candace is going live and like 8 people left. We'll get the report later.
Oh, no.
I'm sure we could stream it. I don't know if she could copyright it. Or there would just be you'd see a lot of chat just yelling at her to unmute or that she needs wrenches. It's too much. It's fine to watch on replay because you can use fast forward.
I didn't hear about what Dre says. This one.
This is the 2-day-old baby that the birth father said that he put the baby in the river.
Oh, in the river? Oh,
I have never heard anything else about it. I've never heard whether they now there's more people leaving. Because they're like, oh wait, Candace is live.
Wrap it
I
up.
love that you guys would rather go watch Candace than all of us. Thanks, guys.
We got to get to our shows, okay?
Well, that's because they're like, this one's not going to get deleted. We can come back over here. That one will probably be deleted.
2-hour mark.
All right. Well, find out what's happening and at least come back and report to us.
Yes, please.
Did you find
Amanda
the
said,
baby, Amanda? I'm going to look it up right now.
Oh, they think found the baby deceased.
Okay, so I have to find out from you guys who listened to the Scott Peterson evidentiary hearing to impeach Rochelle Nice.
No,
juror number
he's
7.
guilty. This is stupid. This is dumb. He's guilty.
good night, Helena.
Stop wasting our tax money, okay? Like, there's potholes on the
We are
street.
so going to disagree right now. We're so going to disagree. Who's watching it? Who's watching? Or not? You can't watch it. Sorry, it's only audio and it's only live audio. So if you miss it, you miss it. Unless somebody's illegally restreaming it, because you're not supposed to do that either. Did Michelle just need to go and check out Candace? We lost one of our own people. Jeez. All right, let me see. 2-day-old baby.
Let's find out about the 2-day-old baby and then maybe wrap it up. I'm trying to get over to
No, look at you. I still wanted to talk about Scott Peterson only because you think it's a waste of our taxpayers' money.
He's
We're both
guilty.
from California.
It is.
So I pay these taxes too.
Okay, well.
Thank you, Lippy.
She's from Southern California, so obviously all the common sense is up north.
No, I don't see anything about her being recovered.
Oh, Allie's already back. Allie Cattails just returned. How was it?
It was
amazing.
amazing.
The update. I do not see anything about them finding her. Amanda, if you see something about them finding her, can you send it?
Oh, Jeanette says it's not. The baby's never been found. That's
no,
so
the baby's
sad.
never been found.
But again, it's like it's like the tip of a pin, in the sandy beach. Like, however, search and rescue. My hats off to them. Those individuals volunteer, like, and they're part of like search and rescue teams. They go out there, like, they volunteer. The dogs, the dog handlers volunteer so much time and energy and money, and like those are the real heroes. And they don't always find them. So.
I want proof that he threw that baby in the river. Like, there has to be some type of surveillance out there. Not that I want to see it, because I do not want to see it. I just want to know if there is, and that the cops have seen it, because otherwise, how do you know that he actually did it and that the baby's not, like, he didn't give the baby to somebody else?
Yeah.
You sure there's surveillance? We don't live in Europe. How do they get away with anything? Like, with all the CCTV? And I wonder, like, is there just people in like these big like control rooms watching millions of screens at the same time? Like, I'd want to catch somebody doing a crime.
We want to be one of the people behind the little cameras. We do that.
You would just be studying that surveillance all day. You'd just be like,
oh my God, yes.
That guy just bumped into that guy.
I put a ring cam up on my house, and sometimes I get stuck watching it. Okay, so like I couldn't be CCTV person.
You guys have like it's like next door, but it's like for like the Ring. It's like Ring next door, so that people can post all their Ring.
Oh, they put all
their
funny
Ring
stuff
footage
up too.
on the app.
All the funny things.
I get stuck on that app watching people doing stuff in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
And I'm always like, I wonder if they're gonna, I want to know if they're like gonna catch me like walking the dogs or whatever.
Like, oh man, he's pulling up at 2:30. Where's he been all day?
I was walking the dog.
Did you know that your son was out till 12:45 last night?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so I got to go back and see who all watched the Scotty piece or listened to the Scotty P stuff.
Yes. Yeah.
Alley Cattail says it's too stressful to watch. It's just you can't look at the chat. That's the only way to go around it.
Oh.
Well, he
Well,
says
that
that he
was-
did it, so I think that's why he was charged with it. But I'm wondering if they actually have any evidence. Sent you an article. Okay, thank you.
Spivvy? Yes. So I'm so guilty. I do. And
We are
nothing, but as
guilty of
soon as
watching our own
and
Serenity
nothing's
television.
happening. I live on a really quiet street, but the second I turn it off, I know that's when something's going to happen. So
Oh, well, then for
We'll
all
turn it
that,
off.
all I have to do is look out my window then if that's the case. Oh. That's
Tanya
it.
said she went and checked, and she has a guest, and it seemed like she was able to figure out her audio.
Nice.
There you go.
Nice.
she has a,
She's moving
she has
on
a
up.
guest on?
She
Yeah.
can tell her I figured out my audio too.
She might be backstage soon.
Thanks, Tanya. We just lost
Tell
another
her- tell her
11
to drop a
viewers.
link.
Thanks, Tanya.
Another 11
Can you
viewers
guys hurry up? Candace's live.
deserted.
Right.
Well, the last case I wanted to talk about was Scott Peterson, but I feel like that's going to turn into a
I'm not talking
controversy.
about Scott.
Well, hello, he's on my thumbnail because his
Oh, God.
impeachment. He's not. Lacey is.
We have to get through the thumbnail.
Impeachment of Rochelle Nice is going on right now.
Was that the one with the red hair?
She did. It's called Strawberry
Yeah.
Shortcake because she had that bright red pink hair. So, I don't know if anybody's listening to it but me. Like maybe I'm like the only weirdo that's like I'm gonna
Us
listen.
and the
I've been
other
listening
three.
to it every day.
Our other 3 viewers now. Okay.
Yeah, they're like, all right, this is dumb.
All
We're
right,
talking
guys.
about Scotty
All
Peterson.
right.
Let's go talk about Candace.
I'm done.
But anyway, so just an update because that's what we were doing. Is they stopped the hearing because there is some transcripts and some footage from the A&E special, the Who Killed Lacey Peterson, that was not actually aired, and they have it still at A&E, and so they're getting a subpoena to get all this unedited stuff. So they're not actually going back to court until like the 24th or 25th.
24.
He should just be happy he got off death row and just shut up.
Yeah. It's happening.
That's not how the justice system works. If she lied, then he didn't get a fair trial.
Right.
We'll see what the judge says.
Yeah, he'll probably get a new trial. Let's not even talk about jurors lying. I do not want to talk about Ghislaine or Jeffrey Epstein. Don't start right now. So side note about my ring cam. So the other day my daughter orders for her birthday some Lululemon pants, right? And like a week later, she's like, "Mom, where's my package?" And she said it got delivered 2 days ago. So I look on my ring cam and FedEx delivered it to my neighbor's house. And so I'm like, 2 days go by, like, and you have like, obviously you've seen it in 2 days, the package, you know? So I finally have to like chase down the mom over there. And I like, in the morning, it's like bright and early in the morning before she goes to work. I'm like, "Hey, I had a package and I saw it got delivered." I'm like making sure
Was
she
she
knows
wearing
I
the
have the video.
Lululemon pants?
No,
I want her
so
to
I'm
be
making sure she
wearing
knows I have the
Lululemon
footage,
pants.
right? Right off the bat, I said, "You know, I saw on my camera it got delivered to your house. So, bitch, don't lie to me. Let's just go." And so she brings me the
let me see your
package and they're
pants.
opened. Like, and she said they were already open. She said her husband opened them, and that was like, "Oh, you got more Lulu." She brought me out the package of open pants. Like, what? Where on the? She said I didn't know who it was. I was going to call the phone number. I'm like, why didn't you just walk it over to the house number that it says on the address label? What do you mean you have to call the phone number that's inside the pants? Where's it at? In the crotch of the pants? Like, bring the package over right away. 2 days later, I was pissed. I was so mad.
No, she wanted your Lulus, I think.
Started some true crime stuff over here.
She probably opened them and they weren't the right size, and she was like, "Shit! I wonder if I can exchange these and get a size that'll fit me." Oh,
Yeah, they were
Spiffy.
way too small.
We like it. We like the true crimes.
You know,
I want her to be wearing the Lululemon pants, and then like she walks out in her driveway and she's like, "Yeah, what can I do for you?" And you're like,
So this
"Yeah,
live
give
is
me your-
really a
give me your freaking
fundraiser for
pants.
my bail money.
Give me the pants on your body because they're
Thanks.
not yours; they're my daughter's."
Check the GoFundMe for the bail money right in the description.
I love it.
I know. Oh, I
He was
can't.
totally gonna keep the pants.
He was going
Yeah,
to
she
keep those
was.
pants.
Did did you
And
take
2
your
days
daughter
later,
with
and
so that you could like teach her how this shit's done? Like, hey, let's go take care of
no,
this. We're gonna go get our
I'm not
package
letting this
back.
feel like, I'm sure this is gonna feel awkward now 2 days later. Like I'm coming out, like, yeah, I have the footage. You're like, but I don't care. Let's do it. Let's go.
I know
I'm
you have
gonna
the fucking
confront
pants.
you.
Give me back the pants. You want me to bring
Want
out
my
the footage?
pants
I've got
back.
the footage. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. All right, let's see. Anything
All
else?
right.
Anything else that we need to talk about before we hop off? This was so fun. Thank you guys so much. Thank you guys
It
in
was
chat
fun.
and all my beautiful
Fun.
wrenches.
Yeah, I
Love
will
you guys.
load the boys video onto YouTube. I took it
Yeah.
off of where I can just hit the play button, but I'll load it into the videos on our channel for everyone
Okay.
if they want to see it again.
It was a good video, Chris. That was
a really good video, man. I can't.
It was hard.
I love packing.
I'm glad
in the
that we
field,
ended
but
on
it was
somebody
all the
else's
boys. So
package.
cute.
You know what? Can I just put little Oakley out there for anybody who maybe hasn't?
Heck yeah.
heard
I
her
don't
case?
know all the details to that case, so I cannot tell what's going on, but you do it, please.
Oh, my Oakley. Little Miss Oakley Carlson. She is from Oakville, Washington. Kind of one of those cases we were talking about with Harmony. She was placed with the Hiles. They were her foster parents. And then she was placed back in with Jordan and Andrew Bowers, which are her biological parents. Within a very short time after that, Oakley then disappeared. They're actively still searching for her. Both of her bio parents have been arrested. They're being held on custodial interference charges, I believe, right now. They're trying to build a case. There was a fire that was started. It was reported, but they didn't report. It was reported, but it wasn't. They didn't call 911 when it actually happened, and then they claimed afterwards that it had something to do with Oakley and whatnot. And then Oakley's sibling went and had a little play date with the principal of the school, and when playing with her daughter, she had mentioned that Oakley was no more. And then the principal placed a call. And then not long after that, Jamie Jo Hiles and Eric Hiles, the foster parents, they then went ahead and they reported as well. And
This is the one where Oakley's siblings tested positive for meth. And one of them had such high levels of meth that when they tested, that it had to be from ingestion.
Yes. And what sucks about this is, I mean, this baby, you could see it all over.
I love Duty Ron, so you can watch him, Melmac. It's okay.
Yeah, no, we do. We love Duty Ron. Oakley, Oakley's foster parents, the Hiles, have done an amazing job at getting Oakley out there. They have an amazing Facebook group. Please, guys, if you can go follow. The community has heavily gotten involved to get her out there. I've never seen a missing child put out there so fast and watch the community come together. And I mean, it's unbelievable.
And she's also been missing for at least months. If I don't remember correctly, but
yeah, let me see when Oakley went missing.
She was missing for like a while. I don't know if it was in the years yet, but because I don't remember. I have a little person that's coming out to figure out what I'm doing.
She was last seen February 10th, 2021. Was the last time Oakley was seen. Her parents, they are in custody. They are not speaking at all. They are giving no word on Oakley whatsoever. The Facebook group themselves, they've been organizing gatherings and things, and their last one was outside of the prison that Andrew and Jordan are being held at. And they posted a video. I reposted on our page, I believe, and you can hear the prisoners banging from the inside. Like they understood their assignment. Someone made a comment in the Facebook group. I cried. I cried. I went,
they understood their assignment.
Yeah, they came together. They were outside that jail, and they just answers for Oakley, the chanting.
They hung the. Is this where they hung the pictures outside or the banners?
Oh yeah, I mean that.
Did you say that? I missed it. I'm sorry.
That's all they're doing. They have banners and signs just everywhere. I mean, there was one construction company that was just coming by and building, actual boards for people to put out on their lawns and things like that. It was.
Wow.
I mean, the love that this baby has, and the fact that.
When did you say she was last seen?
February 10th, 2021.
And she was reported missing when? Like 4 months ago?
Yes.
So like, she was just, I remember her being in the months. That makes sense. Okay.
I just want to make sure I have the.
Amanda says she's back from Candace's live, and it was fast.
That was a quickie.
It's a quickie.
Just a little quickie.
Yeah, that's my little man. That's my youngest. Okay. Well, I gotta do some deep dive on some Oakley case because
Yeah,
that's a big one that's happening that I don't know. I just don't know all the details too.
Yeah. And don't forget, we have Michael, we have Harmony, we have so many kid cases. If you guys just,
I have a timeline for Harmony that I'm gonna work on, either putting a video or we can do a live, whatever you guys want to do.
Cool.
But I have a really good timeline I had put together already with like from the whole history of it. So we can do that because I followed Harmony quite closely.
Harmony's case is a perfect example of what we were speaking about with CPS and the CPS workers and things like that. I think that would be a really good discussion for that.
So another CPS, DHS, DFS, FS, whatever one it is.
DYF something.
DYS.
I can't get them all straight.
All right, you
guys.
All right. Well, I thank you guys. Thank you, chat, for being so freaking awesome and just
good night, you guys.
Chill and talking cases and being so cool. So, we'll definitely be doing this a lot more often. I'm back from vacation, and I think I'm caught up on most of my schoolwork. Maybe.
So doing all the research, and I'll be.
I do. So if you guys, the videos that come out, like, so I put it all together, and then Christine takes it and makes it all lovely. So when you say thank you, it's definitely to everybody because it's not just done by me. So she's amazing.
And Michelle and Dre keep us all sane. Dre keeps us all in line.
Just she does.
She's the rule. She's the hard one.
No,
all right, you guys. Well, I think you guys go have a great Friday night, the rest of your Friday night, and enjoy Candace's live.
Bye, bye guys.
Night.